Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another entertaining round of golf conversation on 1500 ESPN, presented by the Meadows at Mystic Lake. Next on the tee, this is the 9 a.m. pairing from Bloomington, Joe Stansberry. And from Minneapolis, Craig Teiken.
Speaking of storyteller, we've got a guest on at 9:30. She is the #1 rated golfer in the world in her age group.
And she 25, 30?
10.
10.
She qualified. She became she came up here. She lives in Dallas, and she'll be on with her father. But she came up here, and she qualified for the USGA Women's 4-Ball Championship with another partner who was almost twice her age.
Right.
16.
So 16 and 10 making a national event.
Came up here and just lapped the field. So that'll be an interesting conversation with her and her father. All right, when we return,
we're going to go Avery?
Yeah, we're going to go Ivan and Avery.
Ivan and Avery.
And calling long distance from Dallas, Texas, the #1 ranked women's player in the world for her age group. We're not going to tell you how old.
Oh, whoops. She's 10. I just blew it. We'll be back. You're listening to Tea Time, 1500 ESPN. So we got the youngest female to qualify for a USGA event, and that happened
and
here
her
in Minnesota.
father.
And her father.
Yeah.
Ivan from Dallas.
Zweig. Ivan, are you there?
We're here.
Good. And your lovely daughter?
Avery, you with us?
Yes.
Oh, good. Good. Connection sounds good. We had to put you on speakerphone, but so hopefully this will be a good. So, Avery, you're 10 years old, and your resume, you got a website, you got a Facebook. You're ranked the #1 10-year-old in the world. How did you get to this spot?
Well, I started with this little putting mat. It was about 7 feet, and my dad played. He played a ton, so much so that I said to my preschool class that he worked at the golf course. But in reality, he was actually there doing sales because he would talk to people for business. And then I played in my first tournament when I was 5, and I just kind of loved it from there. And my parents, my family, my friends, they've all been really supportive through this journey I have, because golf is an odd sport, but I love it, and I can only hope that I can pursue this as a career.
Well, we're all odd if we play golf, but
yeah.
So you were 5 years old. Do you remember what was your lowest score as a 5-year-old?
Well, my first tournament was 65. And
9 holes.
Yeah, on 9 holes, not 18.
Right. No, if you got 65 for 18 at age 5, yeah, you would be on Douglas' show with Tiger Woods. So
that's good.
Right.
So talk about the tournament that you just qualified for. You're up here at Windsong Farm, wasn't that correct?
Yes, we absolutely love Minnesota. We love the NGA. And we love coming up here because it's kind of good luck. And Windsong Farm was a great host. The course was super nice. And me and my partner, Milena, we both really ham-and-egged it. Like, we kind of switched roles on the back and the front, because on the front I played well, on the back she played well. So I feel like we were a great team.
And you qualified, just so our listeners understand. First of all, you're from Dallas, Texas, and you came up here to Minnesota. We talked to your father earlier you like the temperature, and
yeah.
you've had success. But you came up here for the USGA 4-ball qualifier.
And we came up here for the final stage of drive and putt.
Okay, so was that at Hazeltine again?
It was at Interlochen on Saturday, and then Monday they had the 4-ball, which was, they played 8 holes and had a rain delay, so we finished it Tuesday, but it was a pretty magical weekend for sure.
So you qualified for the drive, chip, and putt too?
Yes.
Well, that's good. Did you compete in that this past year?
Well,
Yes.
Augusta,
yeah.
Oh, well, I made it 2 years ago, but now I'm going to go again in 2018.
Yeah, so 2015, she qualified through Hazeltine for the 2016 Masters. Then last year, we went through Pinehurst, and she got knocked out in the last stage on the putting, and then started over, and we went through Minnesota this year, seeing the schedule and actually understanding that she could play in the 4-ball qualifier, and if she made it to the third stage, she'd get to do the drive, chip, and putt finals at Interlaken. So it kind of worked out. You know, she obviously had to work her way, but it wound up being a magical weekend.
Well, Interlaken is a magical place. Did you get a chance to play it also?
Yes, we did. We had to pull a lot of strings, but we were worried that the chip was going to be, out of rust because I'm not very good with Ryra because we don't have it down here in Texas. But it ended up being in the fairway, and I played with two of my fellow golfers, Steph McCain and Alexa Pano, and we had a fun time. And just seeing how the monumental course Interlaken is, it was really fun to see the old style, but also to play the nice course.
Well, that's wonderful.
So, are you a goal setter? You're 10 years old now. Have you set goals for yourself in the future?
I'm a huge perfectionist, and yes, I have. I want to be on the LPGA tour, and I really wanted to make a USGA event when I was 10, but that's already happened. So I want to make the U.S. Girls next year and the USAM. I also have some fitness goals because I train a lot. I want to be able to do 10 proper push-ups, which sounds really easy. But
no.
Elvis has to go in. It's a long story. But
No, I don't think I could.
Form.
Yeah, I don't think I could do.
Word.
Yeah, right. But I don't think you're talking to three guys in a radio studio. I don't think we could do 10 proper push-ups. So that's a great goal.
So Ivan, is she taking money off of? When did she first start taking money off of you on the course?
Oh, God. Well, as she mentioned, I used to play like 5 days a week, and I'd have a lot of business meetings at the course and then played in a lot of money games or whatever. But literally by the time she was 6, these junior golfers are all awesome. And I was a pro baseball player. I wasn't a golfer, so I kind of just learned the hard way. And so when you're playing with them and they have such dialed-in swings, she was literally hitting it right down the middle every time. And after about 4 holes, the second time we played, I just said, I can't play with you. You don't need to watch my nonsense, And but it's funny. She'll play in Wolf games with my friends because they want to have her out there. And, she's throwing the hammer and all that stuff. It's really fun. It's a good time.
So where do you play out of?
TPC Craig Ranch here in McKinney, Texas. It's basically Dallas.
Yeah, McKinney. So, yeah. All right. So, Ivan, you've got a talented 10-year-old. How are you going to keep her motivated? Obviously, she's self-motivated without getting her burnt out. I think it's the hardest juggling act as a parent. What are you going to do to try and keep that on a level field?
That's a great question. I think the main thing is, like you mentioned, she's self-driven. There's no dictating by me what we're doing. She's say, hey, do you want to do this? I mean, obviously as her parents, I have to enlighten her to what she could possibly do. Like, would you like last year or 2 years ago when she was 8, I said, hey, you can play in the U.S. Open qualifier here in the next year or two. So when she was done with her U.S. Kids World Tournament after age 9, in 2016, we kind of reset our that's like our fiscal year end because it's in August and we're starting school. And she said, I want to play in the U.S. Open qualifier, next year. And I said, well, dude, you've got to get in way better shape because forget the results. You've got to be able to walk 36 holes in one day. And
right.
I mean, without hesitating, she goes, okay, what does that mean? I said, well, you're going to have to get way stronger. Okay, what does that mean? Well, you're going to have to train, 2-3 times a week stronger. And she keeps saying, okay. And I said, the only way you can do that and not sacrifice a ton of your golf time is you're going to have to get up early and train, before school because you can't lift weights and do all this stuff and then expect to swing a golf club 30 minutes later. You need the recovery time. So, here we are getting up at 5:45 in the morning. I'm wondering, what am I doing? And she was like into it right off the bat. And it took maybe 2 or 3 weeks of a little tweaking it a little bit to figure out exactly what was right. But you're right. You don't want to burn her out. She doesn't need to. It doesn't need to seem like it's work.
Right.
But I've tried to get her to play other sports, and she just loves golf and doesn't want to play other ones. So we've kind of made the training into another sport for her. And I've explained to her that if you know how to train and stay in shape, whether you're a doctor, lawyer, golfer, that's going to be a valuable skill. So she uses that kind of as a second sport, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Do you have a personal trainer then, or is that you, or?
No. I really, and I'm not her coach either. She's got a full swing coach, Stephen Amick here in Glen Eagles, and CJ Gex is her short game coach, and she's got a strength coach that she works with in the mornings for school, and sometimes I have to run her through some of the workout, but I don't want to be that. I need to be her dad.
You don't want to be Alonzo Ball.
Yeah, I don't want to be. It's not fun being a drill sergeant. I want it to be fun, and I want her to really like being out there with me, not look at me like I'm kind of her opposition, sort of.
Avery, you love the game.
Yes.
And how are you planning on keeping that passion? Or are you just going with the flow right now?
Well, it's not paid right now, but it will be. But I love it, and especially with the philanthropy I'm doing with the Win Green campaign. I don't know if you know about that, but it definitely gives me an extra boost or more motivation to do well, because you're thinking about how privileged you are to be out there on the golf course when people are fighting a battle they can't help with cancer and other stuff. And I love competing. I think that's kind of in my blood. My whole family is super competitive. We can't play board games now.
All right, wait. We got like a minute and a half. You brought up your philanthropy. Now you're a 10-year-old, and we got 1 minute to give them a website and explain what this is.
You want me to do it?
I always
Sure.
It's the wingreencampaign.com.
Spell that.
W-I-N, green, like the color green,
yep.
Campaign. Win Green Campaign. And go ahead.
And what's it about?
So it supports pediatric cancer. The first year, her janitor at her school had lung cancer and couldn't work, and they were doing these little fundraisers, and she just said, "Dad, we got to do something." And so we came up with this Win Green campaign. It was basically people were pledging like $10 or $20 per win, and every time she won, they'd give money, and she raised $8,000 that summer.
Wow!
And we had put it on social media, and so like a bunch of people were asking to participate. So we capped it at 5 the second year, and they raised $30,000 for a 2-year-old boy with neuroblastoma. And then we had a bunch of people last year saying, "Hey, we want to participate." So this year we had 50 kids, and they've raised about $100,000 in in-kind donations in cash so far. And we've got another little fundraiser here in November, and it's all for pediatric cancer, St. Jude, and there's usually one beneficiary, an individual each year as well.
Well, awesome. We sure can't tell you how much we appreciate you taking the time, and it's humbling to have a 10-year-old do more than you have done in your whole life. Ivan, I think you're doing a great job, and Avery, we'd love to stay in touch and maybe have you call in once in a while. So,
yeah, and
Thank you.
keep working on that game. One last question before we go: how far are you driving it now at the age of 10?
Well, the training has definitely helped, but my longest drive is 270, and on average, it's probably 220, 230.
She's being modest. She's 230, 240, and her long drive at Drive, Chip, and Putt this weekend was 258.
How tall are you?
I'm 5'1.5". The half means something to me because I'm so
Hey,
small.
I get it. Believe me, I'm 5'6.5".
Yeah, that's right. All right, Avery and Ivan, congratulations and continued success in the game of golf. Enjoy it, and we'll talk to you soon. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Sounds great. Thanks.
Good luck.
Good day.
Bye-bye.
All right, I need to go to bed. I think I'm going to have a nap, and when we come back, we'll assess more of what we just heard from that fantastic 10-year-old. You're listening to Tea Time, Tea Time on TCL Broadcast
Tea
Studios.
Time is on the air.
It's fun, it's hard,
and stand out there on that green, green grass, and it's just you and the ball, and there ain't nobody to beat up on but yourself.
Tea Time with Joe Stansberry and Craig Teiken is on.
Golf is a game for gentlemen. It's not for your kind.
1500 ESPN.
Well, it started out.
Welcome back to Tea Time. I'm a little overwhelmed by the 10-year-old that was just on. She's out there ham and egging it.
With her
Ham and
partner.
egging it.
Yeah,
She's 10 years old. And
amazing.
And her partner's 16. You know, she's looking up to this aged veteran.
That's right.
Yeah, those of you again, she has a website. It's Avery Avery Zweig Zweig. On Facebook, it's Avery Zweig Golf, and Twitter.
Yeah.
So I mean, if you just want to follow this, but you know, I didn't want to bring up the philanthropic aspect of it, and I let her do it. Even I got a list. She's got a really neat resume, but to be a 10-year-old and be that proactive in trying to help people.
Mm-hmm.
And it came from her. You could tell it came from her, and not from her parents.
So that's wingreencampaign.com.
Right.
So people pledge money for every time she wins. And if you're hitting a 250 when you're 10, guess what you're doing a lot of? Winning.
What were you doing at 10? I was playing, but I don't
we
think
were just talking about that. We both played a ton of golf and that's one of my favorite things about golf. You can get very good at it at a young age. But now with these kids, with the amount of quality instruction that they get and how the clubs fitting them all the way through the rung, you know, the girl in this position, she's never going to have the wrong tools in her hand, you know, to use, and that's such a big thing.
Right. Well, you know, don't cut off a club. You can if you want to get them interested, but it can actually hurt a kid more because it's just so heavy. It creates a bad move. Blah blah blah. And now with second swing, and you can find used, you know, junior clubs relatively easy, and but obviously, in a girl in her position, she's going to be fit right.
Yep.
And the ability, but she said 270. I almost fell out of the chair.
Yeah, I hit it too.
And she what did I even say 258?
Yeah, at the drive chip and putt. That
she won.
This year, yeah.
And that was at Windsong.
That was at Interlaken.
Oh, that was at Interlaken.
The qualifying. So she came up for the double.
That's right.
She did the
so I wonder
drive
if that
chip
was
and
on
putt.
the first hole. I wonder where they did the drive.
I don't know, but yeah, what a great event that'll be coming up. So we're going to watch. We got somebody to be a fan of.
Besides our local favorite.
Yeah, Isabella
McCauley, Bella. So, yeah, it'll be interesting but just so humbling.
Yeah, I think it's inspiring. So that's exciting. You know, young players coming up in the game and enjoying it and getting out there. And Dad knew right away that I'm going to lose to her the rest of my life.
Right. and it sounds like he's not being a Renzo Ball type parent.
Yeah.
There
seems to be some balance there. All right, when we return, we'll wrap up this cloudy hour of radio on 1500 ESPN. So, well, I tell you, Avery Zweig. How about that story? 10-year-old, fantastic. And we're going to do some research on Tartan Park, the new Royal Golf Club, and figure that out and give you next week some updates on Braemar as well.
Maybe we'll get Hollis calling.
Absolutely. You've been listening to Tea Time from the TCL Broadcast Studios on 1500 ESPN.